we'll get an acceleration. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing a manual transmission Jeep Gladiator. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Imports for giving me some time with this Gladiator. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. So I've already done a bunch of Gladiator reviews, so this is going to be kind of just like a basic overview, and then most of the video is going to be me driving the Gladiator because, well, this is all about the manual transmission and whether or not you should get one with a manual transmission. So this particular one, just for a quick overview, is the Overland package. So it's got the full LED lights here on the front end. You've got the painted front end right there, and then notice you've got the regular bumper here with the tow hook still, just like all the other Gladiators. And then you've got tires that are a little bit more kind of like street ready, if that makes sense. They're not crazy aggressive like what you get on a Rubicon. And then you guys can see kind of, well, part of the suspension, sort of, not really. And then you've got your regular badging here on the side. Notice that the fender flares have been painted. The top is black on this one, and then you've got the flag there on the back. And then you can see out there, we've got the little exhaust tip. And I will give you guys an exhaust clip just like normal. And then notice here on the back end, again, we've got the LED lights here. And then with the Overland, something that's nice that you get is you got like the slow lowering tailgate. All the Gladiators are where they like stop and then they go down. And then bed liner back here. Notice that you've got the LED light turbo liner. Never seen that before. But yeah, that's the tailgate area. And then interior wise, this one's got cloth seats, if you guys were wondering. So there's kind of the whole interior setup, and then you still get leather trim here on the side though. And then here is for the front interior wise. Again, you still get the leather trim in this area, and then you've got kind of like the netting right there. It says Overland on the seat, but let's actually pop in. And so if you guys are wondering, it's really easy to get in. This kind of gets in the way. I know it's like a running board is supposed to help out, but like you pretty much just step over it, as weird as that sounds, and then you just kind of close it like normal. And then since it is a manual, you guys actually have to, so you've got the brake right here, and then you got the clutch right there. You have to press both of them in, and then notice it doesn't start up. You have to physically hold this down, and then it'll start up. That's something I've noticed that's weird with the Jeeps. You have to like hold it down for a while to actually get it to kind of like activate. But notice this has like adaptive cruise control, which is interesting because I mean it's a manual, but it still has adaptive cruise control. And then the gauge cluster right there. And then you guys can see the normal center screen, which still get the regular Gladiator backup camera with the zoom in function on it. All of that's normal. All of this stuff is the same. Still get four-wheel drive, obviously. Heated seats, heated steering wheel. You've got like the gray trim here. And then here's a transmission selector, obviously. Well, I should say just the stick shift, but it's actually pretty interesting. The throws definitely are long, but it's not too difficult. And then reverse is pull up, and then you go over, and that's how you get into reverse. But we'll talk more about this when we go and take it out for a drive. But here's a quick tour, and well, let's take it out and see how it drives. If you guys are wondering, this is a 2020. It's got 6,000 miles on it. So what I'm talking about, you have to like hold the button down. Let's quickly go over visibility here. So notice you've got the visibility over the hood, both the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And well, parking brake down, first gear, let's set off. On the parking lot, I want to see if you can actually get up and go without pressing the gas at all. So this is no gas. Yeah, you can actually get up and move without even touching the gas pedal. And that is a brand new 911 Turbo S. Those are definitely cool to see. Yeah, that is the 992 generation. Those things are not cheap. Yeah, that thing looks really good. I know that this is not about the Jeep Gladiator, but it's still cool to see one of those in person. Is he gonna punch it? Nope, he's not gonna punch it. But anyways, clutch engagement, it's relatively good here with the Gladiator. We'll see how the gearing is. Okay, so first gear is pretty much just gonna be a crawling gear. I can already tell that. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good in terms of how it feels as a manual transmission. Definitely weird because the shifter is just so long, but it's actually really easy to drive, really smooth. The clutch is very light. See how blippable it is. It's okay. Definitely more blippable than like an inline four-cylinder that you get with a lot of manual transmission vehicles nowadays that are kind of, I mean, some mid-sized trucks like that. I don't even know if you can get that anymore with the Tacoma. If you can get you can get the manual, but I don't know if you can get it with a four-cylinder. I think you have to get the V6 now. But yeah, relatively easy to drive, feels pretty smooth. The one thing about the Gladiator though is obviously it has that steering that goes side to side. You have to concentrate a little bit more on steering now, because obviously when you're shifting gears, you're only gonna have one hand on the steering wheel. So it definitely lends to a different experience with the steering, obviously keeping it in lane, all that kind of stuff, because the Gladiator floats around. With this being an overland, it's not nearly as bad as like a Rubicon or something like that, but you definitely do get that. Clutch is interesting. It's not super long in terms of the throw. Again, it's very light. It's a very, very light clutch, which I mean is a good thing, right? Especially being an off-road vehicle. If you do take this off-road with the manual transmission, if you had a heavy clutch, I mean, gosh, I do not want to be in an off-road situation with a heavy clutch. You get to the point where your calf would just be completely gone. The engagement point's really good. It's easy to get. Yeah, first gear is pretty much useless. It's very smooth. I like the transmission. Like, you can definitely feel which gear you're in. And then also with the blippability, it's not necessarily the most blippable, but it's okay with the rev matching. But yeah, I definitely love how you can really feel what gear you're in. Like it's like listen to that. It's like a nice click where I'm like, okay, I am definitely in this gear, which I don't know, I think that's a huge plus if you're asking me. And this is good that we're driving this in traffic, so you guys can see how easy this is to drive around in traffic. It's actually not bad whatsoever. I've gotten used to driving a manual transmission in traffic with the Focus RS, actually, and so this isn't too weird for me. It's not very fast though. I will tell you that it's not very fast at all. Kind of slow down here. I'll try to get a better... You couldn't really do heel toe in this. The pedals are way too far apart. The gas pedal and the brake, way too far apart to do heel toe. Is that person going in my lane? Okay, they're not. That scared me for a second there. Yeah, but then again, like I said, it's really smooth, the gear shifts. It's just, yeah, you really couldn't do, like, I mean, maybe if, I don't know, it'd be tough to do heel toe with this. The pedals are just too far apart. So I've noticed with a lot of modern vehicles that are manual transmissions, obviously we have technology now for rev match downshifting. This doesn't have it. I think that's part of the reason why manufacturers have them spaced out, but I also think it's because most cars are built as automatics and then manual transmissions are an afterthought. And so I don't think that manufacturers are really building these cars with the thought in mind of, oh, this person might want to do heel toe downshifts. They're kind of just like, okay, well, let's put the pedals wherever we want, and then the people that will be driving this that'll have manuals, they just have to deal with it. We are going to be getting our acceleration here shortly, but what I found is in bumper to bumper traffic like this, just kind of like, again, very slowly releasing the clutch is kind of the best thing to do just to get it crawling. And if you have to feather the throttle a little bit, that's fine. But just very slowly releasing the clutch seems to be the best thing to do here with the Gladiator. And we'll get an acceleration. I got the tires to spin. That was funny. We did, we got the tires to spin in a Jeep Gladiator because of my shifting. Today is a good day. You can hear there's quite a bit of wind noise. At 64 miles an hour in 6th gear, you're just under 2,000 RPMs, just to give you guys kind of a reference point with the manual. Yeah, downshifting, this thing just doesn't like to do it. It's okay, but it really doesn't like to downshift. It doesn't like to rev match. It seems like it likes to go up in gears, but it doesn't like to, I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't seem like it's too happy to do that. But I mean, it's doing a pretty good job overall, and we'll kind of get through this before those people come. I want to see how it does over this bump here with the overland package. This is my favorite bump because, boom, yeah, it's actually pretty smooth over that. Not bad whatsoever. We'll see how it is rolling here, starting into 2nd, get the RPMs up a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. It's pretty easy to engage in 2nd, and 1st gear is short enough that, I mean, with this you could even start out of 2nd, to be honest. Obviously that's not the best thing to do for a vehicle, but you can pretty much start at 2nd. So if you're at really low speeds but you are moving, obviously you don't want to go into 1st because you're gonna kind of damage the synchros and all that with 1st, because 1st usually, I mean, most cars 1st doesn't even have really good synchros. So yeah, that's the thing. But let's get into signing things up with this manual transmission Gladiator. So first off, I think it's really cool. But should you get this over the automatic? It depends. Do you really want to roll the gears yourself that much? And I mean, if you don't, I don't really think this is more exciting than the automatic. The 8-speed automatic is so smooth and so nice. This just kind of feels, I don't know. I hate to say out of place, but it kind of does at the same time. It's a good setup. This is a very good manual transmission, I will say that. But for a daily driver / off-road SUV, I just don't know if this is the right move. I think that the automatic's a better route to go. It'd be easier to raw crawl and all that kind of stuff with an automatic. It might be a little bit more engaging and a little bit more exciting with the manual. So if that's what you're looking for, then yes, go for this. But I think just for like daily usability and for just kind of like the usability off-road as well, I think the automatic's going to be the route to go, because especially if you're crawling with a manual transmission, again, the clutch is really light, it's really easy to use, but I mean, just, yeah, it'd be interesting. You'd probably stall out quite a bit. Obviously, that's just not being the best driver off-road, but at the same time, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it, but I still think it's really cool. So yeah, if you're looking for a manual Gladiator, they got one. And that's gonna sum things up for our video on this manual transmission Gladiator. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Imports for giving me some time with this Gladiator. Check out their inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.